this one is my choice. I bought that when I was 12 years old for $25 with a box of ammunition and some handful of odd ones. But
What is that carbine?
a man, a friend of my dad's, wanted to sell it. So my dad took me up and we looked at it, and I shoveled snow and took care of a lady who stole her furnace. So I had $20, and he put in the extra $5. So I bought this, and I was about 12 years old for $25. And it's a good one because it's been reissued. It's been reissued over here to the U.S. territory, and that's burned into the stock. And it's the carbine, and it has the stabler cutoff, which came out last, I think in about 1865. Because most of the Spencer rifles were just a single shot. But with this, it was nice for the cavalry because they could put cartridges in all of their fingers up here. And they could shoot at single shot, and then if things got bad, they could flip this thing and draw it from the magazine, which would hold
7 rounds.
yeah, 4 rounds. But this is my favorite of the Civil War guns, just because I've had it all my life.
No, I'm sure. Have you actually fired it?
Yeah, I used up that ammunition, the loose ones. The box I swapped off to Jerry Crozer years ago for something else.
The box, you're talking about the box that held the extra tubes? Did you have that? It was Dr. I can't think of his name. It was a square box about this tall.
No,
it carried 6 extra tubes.
I just had a cardboard box.
Okay.
Of, seems like it had 50 rounds in it.
This is the weapon that General Custer used on the second day of Gettysburg on his defending of Hanover against Jeb Stuart. And even though he was outgunned 4-1, this weapon right here is what stopped him. He went through three corps of cavalry from Michigan before he finally stopped him.
Also, the Buford used carbines.
John Buford on the first day.
He had them. This is this is a regular Army uniform, and this is someplace. There's his picture. His name was Michael Wilk, and he was with the Cannon Company, 161st Infantry, and he was in the campaigns of Guadalcanal in southern Philippines, Luzon, and northern Solomons.
So
And these are his ribbons.
And his dog tags there.
Yeah, and his dog tags. It would identify him if he was killed.
And he was a Purple Heart winner. So.
Yeah, and his Purple Heart. This is special to me. I can get it off the hook. This belonged to Dwight Beatty from Homer, and he was with the 10th Mountain Division in Italy, and they were mauled so badly that they split them up and put them into different divisions. And this one we just talked about, Sam Henderson, he was also in the 10th Mountain, and he went into an artillery company. But that's Dwight's uniform. And of course the 10th Mountain is from our area, from up to Fort Drum now. This one this one belonged to Paul Barrett from Norwich, and he was with the 1st Cavalry, which is still going today. They're very active in Baghdad and all that area. But that's his uniform from World War II. He was a captain. And I believe we did this one yesterday.
What's this picture here, Ken?
Oh, that's a nice picture. After World War II, the American Association of Railroads put out booklets of pictures of transportation during the war and sent them out to the schools. And Nancy, of course, my wife taught school, and she got one. But one of the other teachers, Mrs. Vickery, when she retired, she brought her book over of pictures. And I was going through the books to put them all in sheet protectors. And I says, no, that's not possible. There's me getting on the troop train in Fort Ord, California, to go to San Francisco to get on a troop ship to go to the Philippines. 4 of us. Art Goodwin, who later, when he came home, was up to Syracuse on the TV, and Tony Gabriel, and George Gent from DeRuyter, and me. Of course, we never knew that those pictures were taken. And I always wished I could have something like that, but there it was.
That was very nice, just a gift.
Yeah, one of those things.
Okay. Well, first, how did you get a hold of a lot of this?
A lot of these things I've acquired just by my knowledge of, and the fact that I had a German collection.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the veterans died, the wives wanted to get the things out of the house, and they would call me up and either have me come and look at them, see if I wanted them, or they would bring them up. And that's the way I acquired all these, except the pair in there. The pair of shoes, they were made by the Jewish people in the concentration camp. They're made out of fire hose, pieces of leather, and wooden soles. And some way I got track of a museum over in Germany that had 2 pairs, so they declared 1 pair surplus. And I put a bid on them and got those. And these are pieces of the Hindenburg that blew up over New Jersey in 1937. When I was in Germany, I got that postcard of the Hindenburg, and then I have this picture here of it on the way down in New Jersey in 1937. And these are actual pieces from the Hindenburg, and supposedly this is the only piece of fabric. They found it on one of the engines. The fire was so intense. And then there's pieces of aluminum fused together, some pieces of glass, and so forth from the Hindenburg. These are from Hitler's section, special section. And all these buttons and badges and identification discs all belong to Elmer Payne, that had Payne Stationery Store on Main Street. After he died, his wife donated those to me. The tank I had donated, Bob Bowering had a hobby shop in Cortland at one time, and when they went out of business and he retired, he donated that German tank, which is nice. In the corner there's a German hand grenade over there in that corner. And the rest is just
These badges, Ken, from Cliff Payne.
Cliff Payne.
What do they tell a story, or are they just things that he found while he
There are
was?
things that he brought back, but that's all his wife knew.
Okay.
Things that he had brought back, and they were in a baggie, and I put them into a frame.
When I've noticed a lot of times you said that when one of the vets dies, the wife just wants the stuff out of the house.
Yep.
What's their emotion when they tell you that? Why do they want it out of the house?
Well, it's just like when somebody dies. You have to try to get rid of some of their things. You can't have all their clothing and all their things in the house. Because every time you look at it, it brings it all back fresh to you, their death. So with these things, she had no interest in them. The wives have no interest in this military German stuff.
I was wondering if it's because this stuff disgusts them or because it reminds them of their dead husbands.
I don't really know. I would say that it just reminds them of nothing that I want to have in the house. I'll find some place to get rid of it, and a museum is a place that it should go. I realize it shouldn't be destroyed, and I'll put it in a museum for other people to enjoy. And that's where they get in touch with me, and we put it in on display.
Out of all the rooms, which one is closest to your heart when you go up there?
They all mean something to me, or I wouldn't have collected them. I just like military things. And of course, my first interest was Civil War. And then I brought Japanese home. And this friend, I've got a good friend down in Pennsylvania that collected German items. But he was choosy. He only collected 4 different kinds of items. So when he found like boot knives and matching number firearms, and so when he would find these other things, when he was buying what he wanted, and he'd see these others, if they were reasonable, he would buy them and bring them up and sell them to me. But like I've got German uniforms upstairs. And the first 3, when you're going up to head the stairs, is the one there, the brown shirts with the swastika and stuff on. It was the NSDAP. There's that, and the Wehrmacht, and the Luftwaffe. There's 3 of them. And the family wanted to get rid of them. The father had brought the jackets home, the blouses, and both of them had died. The kids wanted to get rid of them. So this friend of mine had bought some other items that he was interested in. But he said, these are too expensive, I don't want to buy them. You better come down and look at them and see if you want to put that much money into them. But of course I did, because I knew I'd never get them again. And that's how I acquired a lot of those things, is that he dug up all that stuff in the German room, and I'd buy it up from him. And then I was going to gun shows, so I'd buy other things. And a lot of my German propaganda cards, I got acquainted with a German lady who was married to an American, and she was always at the gun show in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And so off season from gun shows in the United States, she would go back home and scrounge her family for German items, bring them back. And I knew where her table was. She had the same table every time. I'd always hit her first. And that's where I got a lot of my postcards and a lot of my good German items. I bought them from her. So between the Japanese lady and Honolulu and this German lady, they were very fortunate things, that people that I have met through my lifetime.
What's an item that you have yet to find?
Nothing. I'm all done.
You're all done.
Well,
There's nothing else that you wish you had in the collection?
no. What is there? I can go to shows and I don't see anything. I've been to shows lately, gun shows the last year or two. I never saw anything that I needed. I've got so much stuff of my own that I just don't need anything more. What happens in the future, I think, that we will acquire a lot of new items, because once they get into larger facilities where they've got the space, and it's an established museum that will be open every day and have guides and all this sort of stuff, I think we will be getting a lot of veterans and families that will want to donate things that have been brought home from all the conflicts. So that's their business. That's out of me. My days are buying are over. I don't know of anything that I want to buy. I'm very happy to have, in fact, since we've been doing all this, talking and talking about things and taking pictures and stuff, I'm amazed at what I've already got. A lot of the stuff I forgot about, because there's so many items up there that I have forgotten them. But it's been a wonderful life I've had of being a military and trained collector, and I just couldn't ask for anything better life than I've had in my life with First National Bank of Cortland. It was a wonderful place to work, so I'm very happy with my life.
I just have one more question. Do you have anything else to
That.
add? My one question that I think we can end on, which is appropriate, this is such a huge part of our history here that you have in your home. How do you put into words the significance of what you've collected here for other people? How do you describe what a great feat this has been for you?
I got a lot of stuff, a lot of odds and ends. That's what I tell people. I got a lot of odds and ends, I'll show you.
But the significance of the history, I mean, what does that say to you, all the history that is here in your home?
Well, there's no way that I know of. I'm not that good in speaking. I'm not a speaker. I used to lecture to groups on Civil War and coins and currency and all this kind of stuff. But basically, I'm not a speaker. So I don't really do that much talking. But it's just one of those things that I never had got into. There's so many of my items that are, I've got a lot of items up there that are one of a kind. And you're never seen any others. And so you're very pleased that you've been able to acquire them through your lifetime. And I was at the right place at the right time. And now I have it through all these years. They've been open now 29 years to share it with other people. And that's what I'm happy about, is that I've been able to find all these things. And people say, how could you have collected all these things? And I say, I don't really know. But something guided me to it. And I'm a firm believer that I've had guidance from up above, because I had to be guided to these things. There was just no way that I could have found all these things myself if something didn't guide me to it and arrange that I had the money to buy it. Do countless things that there's no explanation for. When I was at the bank, I had a lady come in on Wednesday, said we were cleaning out my grandmother's closet, and she's got a Civil War dress. But it's, I don't know where you'd ever find a mannequin for it, because it's got a bustle on it. That was Wednesday. My friend Glenn Munson, who was an auctioneer, came in the bank on Friday and said, I'm going to have an auction tomorrow, and I've got a dress for him. But he said, you're welcome to have it, but I don't know where you'd ever find a dress to fit it because it's got a bustle on it. And I said, I've already got the dress with a bustle, I just need the mannequin. So that's how I got the Civil War lady. And I've had other things just like that. One of my trains, a Marx train, I used to buy some Marx off a man that was having hard times. And he said I never found an engine for it. I've got the tender and 3 passenger cars, but I never found an engine. He says, I've been looking for years. That was during a week, like Wednesday. And I went to a train show on Sunday. And the very first table, I said, that's an unusual engine. And the dealer said, yes, I've had it, but I've never been able to find the rest of the train. I said, I'll buy it because I've got the rest of the train. So I had a complete train. But all these things you just can't explain how they all fit together. I had one of those old radios, Atwater Kent, and it had a knob missing. And when the fella donated it to me, he said, I'm sorry, it's missing a knob. So when I got home, I got thinking, my dad used to fool around with radios. So I hunted around and I found the box. The first knob I took out was the knob that went into that radio. I can't explain these things, except this has been my life. They all fit together. And that's where I've been. I feel I'm just so fortunate that this was it. We were talking about being a radio operator and a sniper. Of course, they like to shoot the radio operators because that broke up communications. And this one went right through my jacket, in and out of my fatigue jacket. Never touched me at all. But that's the closest that a bullet came to me. And there again, why anything that close could have been me just as well as my jacket. But it wasn't my time. And I feel this is my destiny to have this museum and share it with people. That's my story.